It's Wednesday night. Time for a hump day fight. 40 of iRacing's best in a carbon fiber slugfest. We're set to battle it out each and every lap. So grab your popcorn. This is Thunderclap.
The fight for the championship is on, as tonight the forming 16 gets all set to form. The start of the postseason, it's Thunderclap iRacing Series action presented by TLC Incorporated from iRacing's virtual Milwaukee Mile here on Grid Vision. Good evening, everyone. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside the move tonight is Brian Britt. Austin Darbyshire doing production this evening as we get ready to race from the state of Wisconsin. It's the start of the postseason. And it starts with the trucks. 16 drivers, one championship, Brian. And all starts by doing well tonight at this short track.
Yeah, this is definitely a very unique racetrack. Excited to see what this is going to look like. Very flat racetrack, of course. Very cool temperatures as well. Looks like we do have some point standings up there. I think they were gone now, but we'll go ahead and do a quick rundown through those.
You see how that track is set up in turn, but we've seen as well with the points, should be worth noting that right now drivers have their wins via their seeds of wins, determining how much points they start with the postseason. Tonight, all drivers you'll see throughout tonight's festivities on the pylon in purple, those on the cut line in yellow. So these drivers tonight, though, getting set for a racetrack that's so difficult as a short track to deal with. Fairly hot conditions on top of things. It should be interesting what drivers will do in these trucks to make sure they lock in a spot for the next round.
Yeah, this is going to be definitely very important, considered, I mean, we're going to Indianapolis next week, so a lot of guys that are more of a short track, I guess, expertise, they're going to really find their home here if they can get a good finish. But like I said, this is a flat track. This place is quite difficult. I've never been actually good at this racetrack or have ever been able to really find my groove here. So I think a lot of other guys out here are going to have that same issue as well, Justin. I mean, what's your experience with Milwaukee?
It's a racetrack, mind you, that's difficult to pass at, but also we've seen so many different lines being utilized. Keep in mind turns 3 and 4 in particular, that run up to the front straight away. Some drivers like to wrap the bottom. Some like to use the second line and use the diamond line on exit. And don't forget about that very difficult pit entry, that if we get a long run at all tonight, could actually be a bit of a trouble spot once we get to that cycle. 60% fuel the limit tonight. Expecting drivers to have to think about the fuel for pit stops by the later stages, for stage 3 specifically.
Yeah, actually, I spoke to Justin Clapper and some of the other guys before the race, before the broadcast, and they kind of did, clarify a little bit of what the fuel window should be. From what I heard, it's around 40 laps, which is kind of shocking to me. I thought it was going to be a lot longer than that, but So pit stops are going to be something these guys are definitely going to have to be concerned with, along with tires, of course. I think tires are probably going to be something that are going to wear quite substantially here. Usually at flat tracks like this, you see tires, they slide quite a bit. As it looks like we do have the points back up here on the screen.
Yeah, so let's talk a bit more in depth on how the seeding plays in. Ryan Truex led the season with the most victories in the regular season campaign. That's why he's got 40 points. Sean Bounty, 36 entering the night. Then Freeman, Diebold, Ball, all in double-digit points with Jordan Jurassic. Then it gets a bit tricky because Matt Cherry picked up a win in the Car to Mortal race. He's got himself a few points from the season. Mark McCurry, 5 total for the regular season. Same for Garrett. Woodward, Famosa, Tyler Truex, the current drivers above that bubble. And then it gets tricky because currently amongst those out, Greg McConey, Matthew Montgomery, Justin Clapper, Noah Rainwater had very minimum point totals. They had to point their way in to the postseason. And a couple drivers somehow already -1 to the cut line to start the season, for the postseason rather.
Yeah, they're kind of on the hot seat, if you will, right now. I mean, they really have to have a good race here. There is no other option. So really going to be looking at Greg McConey and some of those other guys, Noah Rainwater. He is at the bottom of the pylon. And I expect they're going to be really doing a lot of desperate moves for sure to try to see what they could possibly do to, get a good finish here. I mean, this is a tough track, and I wouldn't want to be on the hot seat at a track like Milwaukee at all.
Let's take one more look at the schedule to remind folks how things will play out here, not just tonight, but in terms of grid vision, in terms of the layout alone. When it comes to the racing action to keep in mind, we talked about some of the racetracks that are on the upcoming schedule. Milwaukee Miles tonight. Last night, Charlotte Motor Speedway hosting Champion iRacing Truck Series competition. Also, keep in mind, later on this week here on Grid Vision, you catch LIS coverage of Top Split for the open side from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget the Global Racing League. That takes place Sunday at New Hampshire as well. 12:30 p.m. Eastern is the start time from the Magic Mile. That's just a look at what's coming up here on Grid Vision. Speaking of what's coming up here tonight, the action brought to you in part by TLC Incorporated, the premier service provider for lawn sprinklers, landscape lighting, drainage services, and garage makeovers. With nearly 40 years of experience. In just one day, your home can become a showcase with a new water-saving lawn sprinkler system, an energy-efficient landscape lighting system, or brand new garage makeover and floor that will last you a lifetime. Imagine all the possibilities if you just gave your yard just a little TLC. Operating in Maryland, DC, and Virginia area, call 888-PIC-TLC for more information. Final practice has one more minute to work with before drivers make their way to the racetrack for tonight's starting grid. Once again, tonight's stages currently set for laps 25 and 40 to be completed before the run to the finish. As mentioned with the fuel window projections under green conditions, there is the potential for drivers to have to make it a 2-stop race to get to the end on full distance. Intern Brian, your expectations are rather keys to having a successful Forming 16 to make sure in turn you're a part of that cloudy 12.
We talked about it being very hard to pass. I think that's going to be one of the keys here. I think the track position is going to be very, very important, especially for those guys that are outside of that cut line like Noah Rainwater. And, of course, Greg McConey, I don't think he qualified quite as well here, so he's going to definitely be in a little bit of a trouble spot. One thing you talked about pit sequences during the stage breaks. From what I heard, there is a possibility some guys don't pit on stage 1. I think that's going to be some interesting. It could be an interesting development. We'll have to see how that kind of plays out. But green flag stops here look like they're going to be incredibly difficult, just considering. Look at this pit road. But it looks like we do have the starting positions here all lined up.
It's time to start to look at the field for tonight's Forming 16 opener. Jordan Jurassic setting the pole time tonight, 29.7 over Ryan Truex. Third spot, John Freeman. You also have Dennis continuing to put up some decent performances. He'll start off in 4th tonight. Scott Famosa, Matt Cherry, row 3. Row 4, Matt Garrett and Greg McConey. Back in the edge of the top 10, Tyler Truex. Roger Diebold, keep an eye on the 38. He starts in the 10th position in front of one more playoff driver.
Yeah, of course, 11th place going to be Josh Ball. 12th place, Justin Goslin. Of course, 13th, Sean Boundy. 14th, Steven Leshinsky. 15th, TJ Lee. 16th, Robert Walton. 17th, Mark McCrary. 18th, Noah Rainwater. Of course, 19th, Anthony Burleson. 20th, Robert Condon.
21st tonight going to Allen Jr. We'll keep an eye on the 28 machine in a bit of a limited schedule this campaign at times. Brandon Schumann back in 22nd. Clapper very deep in the field back in 23rd with Adam Schramm. Joshua Corner, Kyle Newkirk, your last driver in the starting field tonight. Greg Vile. 27 trucks all set to go for about 135 circuits around the Milwaukee Mile.
Yeah, this is of course being a mile racetrack. Lap times are quite high for this being a such a shorter track. About a 30-second lap, and I think that I'm really curious to see what kind of fall off we're going to see. I didn't really get a chance to actually look at that a lot in practice.
This is a track that notably, though, has had a history of decent fall-off rates. It's one of the older iRacing scans on the service, and just made its return to Craftsman Truck Series competition this year, just about a month ago. We'll see how drivers in Thunderclap, though, deal with this track tonight. George Jurassic, inside, outside, Ryan Truex. We're glad to have you with us on Grid Vision for coverage Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated for the start of the postseason. One more lap before we get things fully going, Brian. Who's your pick for tonight and why?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a safe bet to pick Ryan Truex, I would say, just considering he's been the winningest driver so far this season. But I think one of the sleepers is going to be John Freeman. We've seen that guy always be good at tracks like this that are very technical, and of course, being long distance, or should I say, tracks that are all about the long run. I think that he's going to be one to really keep an eye on. Also, Jordan Jurassic. I mean, he's been really, really strong here late in the season, so I expect some strength here as well. Non-playoff driver, though, one to watch out. You talk about Darren Dennis. He has been looking fantastic here lately in the 81.
Well, we see a playoff spoiler to start off the postseason. That's a thought as well. We'll have to see on that mark. Speaking of getting on your marks, iRacing Pace Truck set to take us to the start of tonight's action. Very quick start box for the TLC start zone this evening. Green flag is out. We're underway from Milwaukee.
Very good restart there for Ryan Truex, as he's going to be side by side going into 1 and 2, but it looks like the bottom line is going to be where you're going to want to be. Does Jurassic get clear of the 56? It looks like the 56 gets a pretty good run out of turn 2. He's going to be door to door. Wow, look at that. Jurassic able to really hold off the 56 here, but still a lot of battling deep in this pack.
Jurassic having that preferred bottom groove, though, able to clear for the front stretch. Ryan Truex thought about it, though. First lap, barely. Jurassic, but the bottom line, the fast line we've seen to make passes here over the years. Freeman just showing that right now.
Yeah, Freeman just took advantage of it. I mean, Jurassic went up the track, I think, to block Ryan Truex, and Freeman was like, don't mind if I do. Of course, Formosa moves up to now third place, gets by Ryan Truex, and Truex now back to fourth.
Reason looking back at this grouping in the mid-pack of the top 10, rather, Garrett got very loose off of turn 2. That is a trait that can happen here tonight, Brian, because this track, if you're not careful on throttle, is not for the limit, not for the timid in terms of being able to make sure you hold on to that right rear tire.
Yeah, I think that's going to be something we're going to see a lot here tonight. I mean, flat tracks are notorious about that sort of deal. I mean, you're always going to have to treat that throttle like it's not an on and off switch. You got to gradually get back to it. If you try to just slam the gas down, you're going to end up getting sideways.
The fight going on now at the back of the pack. Some of the postseason competitors starting way deep back of the pack. Others, 6.05 and several more, looking to get things into a bit of a rhythm. A couple drivers having a little bit of tech problems, but just trying to get into a rhythm. Rainwater needing positions early.
Yeah, I think one of the guys that's having a lot of problems is Roger Diebold. He's having a major tech issue right now, and that's unfortunate considering I do believe he won in a couple weeks ago.
And it looks like he's letting several drivers go as a result. You can just see how significant it is right there. Usually like to keep away from this, but this has postseason implications for some drivers. By the way, Lachinsky and Munsto's also dropping back to the outside. It's so difficult even to get the marks right, to be able to stick the bottom like these lead drivers have been doing so far, to be able to make sure you don't go too slow on that apex, but also don't fry your tires by lap 15 here.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the key. Of course, it's every track we go to, but for the most part, the first 5 laps are the most important laps, I'd say, with when it comes to the rest of the run. If you burn them up the first 5 laps, you're not going to be able to undo that damage, except for when we, of course, get to stage number 1. as of course we do. I do believe we see the 71 having to deal with the 35 of Sean Boundy. Boundy, of course, I expect he's going to charge through this field. He always is one that ends up in the top 5 or wins the race. Usually, it just depends on if he makes it to the end. Looks like I do believe we see Roger Diebold actually on pit road right now because of his technical difficulties.
Yes, indeed. So Diebold down in the pit lane. He picked up back-to-back wins in the series running at Nashville Superspeedway, the second of which came last time out to close out the regular season. Freeman, meanwhile, running away from the main group. Scott Famosa, though, has been several times now been trying to fight back and forth with Ryan Truex. Originally had been in front of him, now looking for the swap back.
Yeah, it looks like Diebold is rejoining the racetrack as well. We see Tyler Truex actually getting by, I do believe, Darren Dennis for that 5th place position. And also, I do believe Dennis is under fire from Matt Garrett at the moment.
See that pressure right now as the 81 of Dennis slipping back now. And again, you do not want to lose the bottom of the racetrack, even if you can pinch down, because of how much quicker the tighter radius is in the bottom.
Yeah, definitely very interesting to see that being the case. I mean, like I said, I just don't have a whole lot of experience with this racetrack, but it just seems really, really technical. And you got to be careful. You can't give up that bottom. It does appear. Now, I'm watching this top grouping here. You see Jordan Jurassic starting to have to battle with Ryan Truex. Going to start to see that battle for second place start to heat up here.
Here he goes to the inside. Jurassic in the RL Productions machine. Giving Ryan Truex space. It's got Famosa nearly turns him. Famosa backs out of it. And now it's 3 wide with Tyler Truex wanting to go and pass them both. Make an offset 2.
Yeah, Tyler Truex got the bottom. He's going to try to get by Formosa. Formosa tried to take advantage of the 6, was not able to get there. Also, Matt Garrett, this brings him right into the pack. Side-by-side at a track like this always is slower than when you're single-filed out. So that is going to bring some guys into this battle that I don't think anybody really wanted to be in the battle. You see Formosa just barely able to really cut Matt Garrett off there.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't be over-risky, per se, in the postseason. That reasoning, keep in mind, when it comes to real-world NASCAR playoffs, we've seen several times as of recent years. A 50-point cushion may be all and good, but if you have one bad race, that doesn't really mean much if you end up finishing, say, in 27th.
Yeah, you might as well just kind of like accept your licks while you can. You know, don't fall all the way to the rear. Just keep, let some guys go. It's okay to live to fight another day. Like you said, just don't risk it. I'll tell you one driver that has really been struggling, though. Darren Dennis, he started up in 4th place, is now all the way back in 11th. And he is losing position still, as I do believe Justin Gosling's going to be catching up and passing him very soon as well.
A few of those drivers continuing to find a way to pass. Greg McCody amongst those who's your highest running drivers outside the top 12 currently. It's just been slowly picking them off one by one as nearly everybody goes one by one into the wall there for a second.
I'm surprised at how clean this has been. I expected that this was going to be kind of a little bit of a rough and rowdy sort of race. Usually every time we come to tracks like this, a lot of these Thunderclap guys get a little bit antsy and they get a little bit aggressive, but it looks like everybody has been pretty much minding their P's and Q's for the most part. I'll tell you what, John Freeman, I think I was right to pick him. I think that he's driving away right now. I mean, he's been just fastest on the track almost every time. But then again, take a look at this 69 of Tyler Truex. Last time by, he was actually 2/10 faster than all the drivers that are in front of him.
And this has been extremely impressive from Freeman. It's almost the wondering, too, of how this could play out for Stage 2, or rather, once we get the long run. Does Freeman keep it up, or are these drivers saving, knowing they still have to go the extra stage? That's almost a question mark kind of bit, because if you push hard here, you go backwards quickly. Speaking of drivers looking to go forwards, Jurassic with a block.
And one of the questions, that I think we're going to have to definitely have answered here at the end of Stage 1 is, do these guys pit at the end of Stage 1? Because they possibly can make it to the end of Stage 2 on gas without pitting. Is track position more important than tires? I think we're going to have that answer really soon.
Jurassic now losing the bottom, Making a Truex 2-3 just like that. And off and away, making the pass. I find it so intriguing, just a little touch bit off topic on this, but with the number of fonts you see in the series, but in general, how much they reference in terms of some of the real-world counterparts. I know truck driver Dean Thompson on social media today had a kind of existential crisis realizing that JGR's font was on the 20. It's the same as what you see for the 24 and the 48 for Hendrick Motorsports in real life. That can be said as well. Did you know that Jordi Jurassic's font is the same font as that Aardvark?
Aardvark.
It's called Aardvark. The font's called Aardvark.
Okay. I always saw the way his truck looks like it's like a reference to Kyle Busch's Rowdy kind of car.
Well, that's the paint scheme, but the number font we're talking.
Yeah.
It's a specific font, and don't get me started if you know who Michael Carey is, who is one of the main officials now with SRX. One of his main sticks, he wants a 25 car with that exact same font with the right skew. I'm surprised. I'm curious what. Let's just say it's an interesting discussion point.
Yeah, for sure. As looks like Tyler Truex has gotten by clear Jurassic. Will he battle the 56 here? His cousin, I do believe we're going to see that here in just a moment. Here it comes. Or actually, Jurassic actually coming back, possibly to get to the inside of the 69 here. Man, I'm telling you, look at Freeman. He's like on a different zip code right now.
Up to 2 seconds with that rocket ship of a point at this point. But again, we've talked about how difficult it is to pass with it being a rhythm track. It's like New Hampshire. It takes 10 laps to make a pass. 10 laps is a long time here.
Oh, yeah. It very much is. Very, very long time. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is a fixed series. These guys are all on the same setup. John Freeman is just out driving everybody right now. He's just really looking strong. These guys are going to have to really, change their mindset, change their driving style in order to be able to try to keep up with him. And then again, there are some things you can change on the truck, especially that would be very useful at a track, especially like this, brake bites.
Yeah, that's one of the few things you can adjust as well as the offset. And again, it's basically simple. You go further up on the brake bias, or the higher the number basically makes you tighter. The lower the number, the more looser it is, as it balances that brake bias difference between the front wheels and the rear tires. And that can be a major point on tire wear if you don't adjust or have a preference. Speaking of preference, Tyler Truex shows his preferences to be in second. Ryan Truex falls third.
Yeah, Tyler Truex is on fire right now. Last time by, he was almost a tenth faster than John Freeman. So I expect that now that he's gotten by his cousin here, I think that he's going to probably run down John Freeman. I don't think he's got enough time, though, before the end of this stage to properly do it. But I think that Tyler Truex definitely has a good long run. I mean, look at that last time by. He was a lot faster than Freeman.
Stage 2 could get very interesting here. A couple laps to go on the stage this upcoming time by. You see the difference. 0.3 picked up after one pass in the span of the backstretch in 3 and 4. That gap rolling and quickly down. 2 to go, stage 1.
And I think we've seen this kind of performance from Tyler Truex before. I can't recall what track it was, but I remember he was really dominant at one track, and just no one really had anything for him. I can't recall what it was, but I think we're seeing some hints of that here tonight as well.
So your entire top 10 currently controlled by playoff drivers for points. Right now it's Greg McConey who is the last one who could score stage points, critical for the bubble in this early going. Coming up to 1 to go on the stage, presented by RL Productions. Stage 1 coming to a conclusion to its final mile. Freeman still up by 1.3 seconds. And no major shuffles outside of those in the top 10 already. Freeman starting off red hot. Already, that red hotness has been cooled off by Truex's close, Ryan's close, as well as Tyler's. John Freeman, though, give him some stage points. Stage 1, give it to John Freeman. Ryan Truex and Tyler Truex Up amongst the top three, Jurassic Ball, Famosa Cherry, Garrett, Bounty, McConey all pick up stage points, as this is now our first Eagleswood Creations caution flag of the night. On that note, as drivers get situated for stage 2, take a quick step aside. More coverage coming up after this on Grid Vision.
SRI Performance. With over 400 product lines representing the top manufacturers in motorsports, we are your one-stop shop for everything racing. 3 of our brick-and-mortar stores are located in North Carolina, and our newest facility in Brownsburg, Indiana. And 4 trackside mobile stores, you can find us spread out throughout the nation. With industry-leading knowledge, we are only a phone call away to visit our customer service experts. And don't forget, we have the world's largest inventory of used race parts. SRI Performance, and stock car steel and aluminum for everything racing.
Hey, Bob Carr here at TLC. Take a look at some of the specials we're running at TLC right now. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Storms are in the forecast, so if you have a problem with water standing in your yard, in your basement, now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. We'll be glad to provide you with a free, no obligation drainage proposal for your property. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342 or hit the link below. We'll respond back to your email, set you up for a free, no obligation quote for your drainage needs. Let's solve that once and for all. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Now's the perfect time to have your landscape lighting system tuned up for the upcoming summer months. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. And let's get you some light out there. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's take it down to the booth and get updated on what's going on.
Welcome back to Milwaukee. We're currently in the midst of our first Eagleswood Creations caution flag. Eagleswood Creations, your one-stop shop for your laser engraving needs. From wood to acrylic, custom signs, earrings, keychains, coasters, and much, much more. Located in West Creek, New Jersey, but shipping nationwide. Items can be purchased and custom-made via Etsy or through their website at eagleswoodcreations.com. Follow them today on Etsy, Facebook, and Eagleswood Creations on Instagram. Some split decisions during that caution flag. Tyler Truex, George Jurassic, along with Cherry amongst those who elected to come down and take service during the caution. Many more stayed out, including Freeman, Ryan Truex, Ball, Famosa, and Garrett. McConey as well. McCrary picking up a ton of spots too by electing to stay out for our shortest stage of the night, a 10-lap shootout for stage 2.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. I mean, you said the top 14 essentially stayed out. Now, some of the guys that did go in, Tyler Truex did not take tires. Jurassic did take tires. I do believe Matt Cherry took tires, Sean Boundy. Those guys that took tires, I think we're going to see a huge burst of speed from those guys. So keep an eye on that 6. And, of course, Sean Boundy, he's already fast anyway. So keep an eye on that 35 as well.
We've seen how big the fall-off difference has been a bit. Around a second or two already here tonight. Those drivers already 4 seconds back. It could be an interesting land rush for turn 1. Speaking of rushing forward, it's time for the TLC restart zone. Green flag back of the gear. Freeman leads them off with Ryan Truex alongside, and there they go 3-1 with Ball.
Matt Cherry, or Matt Garrett, I should say, he almost caused a big issue there, I do believe, with him and Scott Formosa.
Everybody thought
not
about
over.
3 wide. Tyler Truex going 3-4 wide to the back. Jordan Jurassic boxed in. Bo Condon pulls the block on Tyler Truex.
This is definitely getting nuts. When you said land rush, I think you might have called that into action, man. That was some crazy racing going on out here right now. Let's look at that. Tyler Truex on the bottom, 3 wide right now, trying to rush his way back up to the front, getting by Steven Lashinsky.
Everybody wants to go for points after all. All this is while Freeman and Ryan Truex a little bit tied up at the front. Same can be said for this fight. This is McCrary inside. Greg McConey dropping back a spot. He goes back to 7 with his fellow bubble drivers right behind him. Oh, and for the lead, it's Ryan Truex to the inside. Freeman up to the 3rd line. The 56 takes the point.
Yeah, I think Ryan Truex that whole time, that whole first stage, I think he might have been saving a little something. I don't think he was using everything he had there. And here comes Josh Ball to the inside. Of course, he's the, I do believe, Truck Series champion this season. So expect he's in his home right now. He's in the truck.
Extremely consistent throughout his truck starts, to say the least. Oh, this is well. Tyler Truex nearly knocks the wall down. He's up to 9th. With 7 to go on the stage, he is flooring it into the corners.
Yeah, showing a lot of pace right now. I'm shocked at the pace we're seeing from all these drivers, having 25 laps on their tires for the most part. I mean, man, they're showing pretty good speed for the most part. As Truex just sends it in underneath Clapper.
Tyler Truex needs to pick up 2.6 seconds in the span of 6 laps to come away with the stage win. Is it doable? That's going to be interesting with only 6 to go to work out around this track. Jordan Jurassic is also now inside the top 10 for stage points.
I mean, Ryan Truex is faster than Tyler Truex right now. Of course, he's the leader. He's got about a half a second on Josh Ball. As you see, of course, 3-wide scenario. Jordan Jurassic trying to get underneath. Oh, there goes Clapper up into the 12 of McConey. McConey he needs points. Like, he cannot have something go wrong here.
And Greg McConey dropping back a little bit in line. Oh, wow, it's scramble time. Right behind Bounty in trouble. That's off Rainwater. Rainwater pushes Bounty up the track trying to avoid the inside wall. Now they look to squeeze along each other. This is outside of the stage points.
Yeah, Rainwater's another one that cannot afford to have something go wrong here, to have catastrophic damage or anything like that. So they got to really watch out. Here we got a replay, I do believe, of this scenario.
And keep in mind, there is an inside wall for that entry into the corner where it's very easy to hit if you time it up wrong. Right there,
Right
you can
there,
see he
yeah.
nearly turned into the wall.
It reminds me of how Norfolksboro was in real life. Like, it's very easy to get down there and hit that wall as we go back live.
Battle for 10th. Bounty quickly recovering from all that to take away the top 10.
I'm telling you, man, Tyler Truex is on a rail right now as he is catching up quickly now to Scott Formosa. He's going to get back up to the top 5. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get up to the lead, though. He's still got 2 seconds to get up to Ryan Truex.
Oh, a little bit slippy and slidey, though. Jordan Jurassic nearly bobbles himself into some of the state fairground walls. Tyler Truex inside for Formosa. A little bit of a rounding on the curb. Fresher tires prevail once again. Move the Tyler Truex machine up to 5th with 2 to go in stage 2.
Well, that's the thing. Tyler Truex, I think he's only took fuel only. Jurassic, I think, took tires, though. So I'm surprised that Jurassic is struggling a little bit more than Tyler is at the moment. So tires might not mean as much as we kind of previously suspected.
That we'll have to keep an eye on throughout the night now. Bounty and McCrary fighting. All will be coming up to the 1 to go in stage 2 presented by RL Productions. Ryan Truex leading currently over Ball at the stripe. That's by 3/4 of a second.
I'll tell you, even though it's not in the stage points right now, way back here in 17th, if you look at TJ Lee, there's a bunch of 3 wide battling going way back here. I mean, these guys are going nuts back here. It is looking so much fun to watch these guys.
We mentioned a lot of these drivers likely will be those you just seen who take tires during this caution coming up. Speaking of triggering it, Ryan Truex coming out of the corner. Give him stage 2. He wins the second stage from the Milwaukee Mile. Ball, Freeman, Garrett, Tiber, Truex, Jurassic, Cherry, Bounty, Famosa, and McCrary. Your top 10. Eagleswood Creations caution is out to end stage 2. It's the race to the finish to see how drivers play out with fuel strategy. How will the tire strats now play out? We'll find out after this. You're watching Thunder.
Eagleswood Creations, your one-stop shop for wood, acrylic, custom engravings such as signs, boards, earrings, and much, much more. You can follow them today on Facebook, Instagram, or you can check out their website, eagleswoodcreations.com.
Hey homeowners, you're going to drag your hose through the yard in 2023? There's a better way to water your lawn. TLC Incorporated has been installing custom and professional underground lawn sprinkler systems for over 38 years. Our team would be happy to come out to your property at your convenience and provide you with a free, no obligation quote for a new custom underground lawn sprinkler system for your home. No more dragging the hose. No more dry and dusty patches in your yard. Our smart lawn sprinkler systems will efficiently provide water to your lawn all season long with a healthy green grass from your front yard to your back. Click the blue Learn More button below and the team at TLC can start building the perfect lawn sprinkler system for your home right away. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's throw it back to the guys in the booth.
The summertime continues to roll forward in the month of July. As we work through the month of July, tonight's action reminder is brought to you by someone who just so happens to have some custom lawn sprinkler systems, TLC Incorporated. Services also include custom landscaping, outdoor lighting systems, drainage solutions for flooded and wet backyards, so some custom garage floors and makeovers. In just one day, you can then turn your home to become a good showcase using that same system and many more things that will last you a lifetime. For more information, go to 88-PIC-TLC. Currently under caution and seeing one of the special paint schemes be utilized tonight. In fact, it's a very special one in the case for Robert Condon. He informed us earlier tonight about the paint scheme he's running. It's for Milwaukee's Best Light. That is because it's his mom's favorite beer, whose birthday is this Saturday. I'd like to congratulate her on her birthday. Robert Condon doing well tonight and sporting those colors proud. Wish her a happy birthday with the Milwaukee's Best Light truck.
Yeah, definitely happy birthday to her for sure.
Here's going to be an interesting situation. How about strategy time? Rainwater did take a fuel only, it seemed, for a minute, but he's pulled back in, so it's now Cherry Jurassic on 2, Bounty Ryan Truex on 4. Your top 4, Brian.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I mean, Matt Cherry spent about 5 seconds in the box, so I think that means he didn't take any tires at all, but looks like we're getting ready to figure out how much tires mean, because I don't know if we've really had that question answered here tonight yet.
First time tonight, Cherry has controlled the field, let alone led the field to a green flag. Green flag, back out to the TLC restart zone, back it away. And now the big questions are on with fuel strategy to consider. 90 laps for stage 3 total under green.
Yeah, keep in mind, I mean, from what I've heard, the fuel window is 40 laps. I mean, if that's the case, these guys are going to have to pit twice. So that could make some very interesting fuel strategy. Can some guys save As look at that, Cherry trying to hold off Ryan Truex and Jordan Jurassic side by side for second right now.
Jurassic on the 2 tires. Keep in mind, you've seen it on the side-by-side. A very quick stop around 9 seconds, and our caution is out. Our first for incident. Eagleswood Creations yellow, front straightaway. Someone took a hard lick to the inside wall, and that was just at the edge of the top 20. That is the 26th. That's Viles' truck. Let's take a look at the replay. He was running mid-pack, around 13th.
And it looks like he just got loose kind of all on his own right there. I think he might have had a little bit of contact there with Darren Dennis, and that might have unsettled the truck a little bit on exit. But I mean, when he spun, he was by himself, so I don't.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting there. Let's take another look back at it. You see he gets incredibly close to the 81 right here. Flip right there. Might have been a little bit of net code as well that kind of unsettles the truck. But it could have been just his getting back to the gas as well, a little bit too quick.
Great job to keep it off the wall, though, and off the barrels as well.
Yeah, for sure. That could have easily been a lot worse than it was.
We did talk about this, though, during the first stage break, that turn 4, one of the trends here, in the pack, you see this a lot during open official action here. Just a lot of opportunities for drivers to get loose off of turn 4 because of how much you need to push on the exit.
Well, you also got to keep in mind, you have so many trucks around you. I mean, you can see that Vile had, like, trucks all around him. I mean, literally, he had a ton of stimulus, I'd say, visually, that was going on all around him that would kind of make you make a mistake like that to where, you know, kind of stimulus overload, wouldn't you say?
It is kind of that circumstance, too, you have to consider, because if you're trying to keep it off somebody while trying to fight the truck, while trying to make sure it doesn't snap loose, while trying to make sure you don't lose spots yourself while not being in the preferred line, you can kind of see where the overload is, because I'm overloaded just saying that.
Yeah, I mean, it can be very overwhelming, so, I mean, you can't really blame him, and it didn't turn out as bad as it could have. That is our first caution based on an actual wreck, though, so I'm kind of surprised. Now, I was just talking about the fuel window being 40 laps, Justin, and making it where we might have to see 2 stops to finish this race. This caution here could make it feasible to save enough to make just 1 stop.
Looks like Olshinsky taking the chance here to top off at least. He's the only one to do so inside the top 20. Everybody else staying out on the racetrack. And that's the major thing. One of the major marks is when under caution, as long as you're clutch and coasting, but also turning the engine off potentially, depending on your preference in the track, while in 4th gear, you basically burn 1 lap over the course, 2 laps total of pacing, per se, on the difference to fuel ratio it's about on average.
Yeah, and if we continue to have cautions or anything like that, it's going to be much easier to make it as well. But I don't know. I feel like the first Stage 1 and Stage 2 were very, very clean. So I feel like we'll see that same cleanness here. I don't know. I shouldn't have probably said that because it's going to be the opposite of what I say.
Don't jinx it. This is the Milwaukee Mile after all. Seen how wild things can get when the pressure builds. We've seen that in the heart of the pack. We've seen that when it comes to battling for the lead tonight as we get ready for the restart once again here tonight. So you look to get position for tonight's action. Reminder that tonight's action brought to you in part by RL Productions, a Baltimore-based national video marketing agency specializing in video marketing solutions and commercial advertising. RL Productions offers custom brand strategies tailored to your company or organization's unique goals with in-house level of detail. RL Productions also offers complete international event solutions for your conference and convention needs with both on-ground and live stream production capabilities. Visit rlproductioncrew.com. Turn your expectations into real-life productions. See that logo on the side of Condon's machine. He is, of course, a big part of that organization. He's amongst those who also topped off on fuel. Coming to start off lap 52 this time by Cherry, Truex, Jurassic. Stay your top 3. Goslin, your only driver down in the playoffs right now in the top 10. Green flag is back in the air.
Yeah, I'd watch out for Matt Cherry. This guy has been really, really good. And of course, he is on older tires here. Ryan Truex not going to be denied, getting a really good run out of turn number 2. Verging on possible 3 wide for 3rd place there for a moment as Jurassic tries to hold off Freeman and Boundy.
Cherry nearly missed the corner. Ryan Truex takes evasive action to the top, but holds on to it for the race lead. Now Cherry nearly spins it. Caution is out in turn 4.
I'm surprised Cherry wasn't the side of that caution. He was sideways coming out of 4, but it looks like we have someone else that had an issue there. Who is that?
That's the 66 for our second Eagleswood Creations caution flag for cause. Robert Walton. Don't you know everybody is a regular season champ? That's a crossover from the Case Cracker 200 where everyone was a champion. Walton, not a champion of the wall there.
Not at all. Looks like him and Adam Schramm had a little bit of a dealing there together.
Yeah, able to prevent major damage. Give credit to the 66 there.
I'll tell you what, that caution saved Matt Cherry. He's coming down pit road, but let's take a look at this. You see Schramm gets loose. Oh, he got loose, came up and got the 66. 66 had nothing he could have did different right there. He just kind of was bad, wrong place, wrong time. But I find this really interesting. That caution comes out. We saw how loose Matt Cherry was. He decides to come down pit road. Isn't that interesting?
Stop-off time for a lot of drivers. Cherry electing to take tires. 52 also rolling on through, and Schumann. So this could be a long-term play here because now it's the easy call to make it on a one-stop. Others picking track position because all of a sudden we've gone from an early clean and calm start to pure madness in stage 3.
Yeah, I think this is a no-brainer. I'm surprised not a lot of other people went down. I mean, Matt Cherry, of course, I think just proved that tires do matter because, I mean, he missed that corner by a country mile, and whenever he was coming off of 4, it looked like he just could not get that truck righted, and so I think he was just definitely like I said, proof positive that tires do seem to matter. Maybe not when it comes to speed, but I think handling a lot more.
Noah Rainwater, as well as Luchinsky, also amongst those coming on in. So at least a few more takers on the second time around. But right now with how things are playing out, the Truex machines, very much looking comfortable. We've seen Tyler Truex through the pack make passes. We've seen Ryan Truex assert his dominance up at the front today. It's been very difficult amidst the fights with the New Jersey-based drivers.
Yeah, Ryan Truex definitely looked really good, but I think the better of the two Truexes is Tyler. I feel like Tyler has been he's been able to pass a lot more than everyone else. I mean, he came down pit road, I think, for a top off at one point, fell all the way back to outside of the top 15 and drove his way back up to 6th. I mean, that's really impressive. And of course, Tyler was in second before and was chasing down John Freeman in stage number 1. So my money's on Tyler Truex. I think that he's got the pace. Now, is it going to be easy for him to get by guys? Maybe someone doesn't make it as easy for him. Then that could be a variable that could cause him to have some issues.
Interesting enough, when it comes to Tyler Truex, he was amongst those who just ran a few days ago at Wall Stadium. That was hosting the Joe Kane Jr. Sportsman 59, involving the NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour. We talked about some of the short track action, able to take part in some of that action just a few days ago, and return to the railroad racetrack.
Isn't that cool? I mean, that could have got him pretty good and warmed up for the series here, for the Thunderclap series. I mean, I don't know how about that track, but is it somewhat like Milwaukee?
No, it is not. It is in New Jersey. TLC restart zone coming up. Let's watch it from Sean Boundy. Outside, row 2. Pace truck is off. Green flag is out.
Got to give a big shout out to Austin Derbyshire for these awesome camera views here. Look at that. Ryan Truex sails it into turn 1. Side by side, Freeman, I do believe, Boundy. Looks like Freeman has the preferred line here. Not settled yet, though. Ryan Truex is also side by side, I do believe, with Matt Garrett for the 7th spot.
Zipping around the bottom. Gosselin also getting shuffled around a little bit. Now offset too wide and a couple trucks in the wall. Two drivers followed each other. Gosselin hitting the wall. Same for Dennis. We still keep it green. Hype Dad tries to keep it outside.
Yeah, a little bit of 3 wide action here as McCrary and Dennis, of course, fighting for that 10th place position. They still are fighting. McCrary, of course, has been showing a lot of pace all season long, but has been having a lot of bad luck here lately.
These are two of the teammates, keep in mind, so expecting some good leeway. Nearly up in the wall again for Dennis. Speaking of drivers, looking to find a little bit of a ball of momentum. Bounty underneath ball. This is for 4th.
Yeah, this is, like I said before, this is kind of Ball's comfort zone. He's really good in these trucks. He's the Truck Series champion right now, but Bounty has been good in pretty much every vehicle he's been in. I do believe he is the Force Xfinity Series champion, so a lot of champions up here battling at the moment. Of course, Ryan Truex, though, pretty relaxed at the moment for now, considering Jurassic is starting to catch up.
I see some of those drivers deep around 19th or so came on in. Cherry in 15th as well, for reference. Tyler Truex, meanwhile, going to pass by Bounty in the midst of things to break things up a little bit for the time being. Speaking of drivers looking to keep things pressurized, Jordan Jurassic, he's back on the back bumper of Ryan Truex, and he wants the lead in now.
Yeah, I'm surprised he wasn't able to get underneath Ryan there. He almost was there. Gets a good run out of turn 2. And he's going to catch up to the back end of that Toyota. What does he do in 3 and 4 here?
Not to get alongside quite yet, the JCR machine. See the bobbles from the left front tire. And just how much you have to wheel this truck around here.
Yeah, it doesn't look very stable. When we're taking a lot of these camera views from kind of the top-down viewpoint, we don't really see a lot of this. But, man, you can see he is bouncing around quite a bit. And you talked about this being a little bit of an older surface as well, so that could have something to do with it. You can see a lot of bumps in this racetrack. Of course, Freeman not too far back from him.
Freeman still looking to find a way up to the point. Instead, he points his way off the wall. And it looks like McCrary all of a sudden has had a tech issue, and everybody behind him just scrambled around to figure out what happened there.
You see Greg McConey.
Oh, in trouble.
Oh.
Gosselin's in the inside wall. Gosselin stuck along the grass. We stay green. Gosselin makes the tow.
That's unfortunate for him. He was one of the, I do believe, only non-playoff drivers that was up in the top 10.
And consistently there, too.
Take a look back and see exactly what happened here. I think he just got loose. Yeah, he just got loose out of turn number 2. That's one we talked about, man. That gas pedal is not an on and off switch, Justin. You cannot just mash it. You have to really be gentle and gradual with it.
A little bit on the rev there. Speaking of looking to rev ahead. Jurassic still looking for a place to poke. It's a JCR 2-3 right now. Just no way to pass quite yet. Clean air advantage for Ryan Truex at the moment.
Now keep in mind, Jurassic, I do believe, qualified on the pole for this race. And has had a very good late season here. So I wouldn't be surprised that he's going to be desperate to try to get back to victory lane. Of course, Ryan Truex, not going to be an easy customer to get around. I mean, Ryan Truex is got a lot, I'd say, he's very tempered steel in a lot of ways, considering he's been racing in real life.
Here he goes.
But it looks like Jurassic will take the position. And also Freeman, he's like, yeah, don't mind if I do.
Move the JCR trucks up to the front. And now Jurassic up at the point. In the midst of this middle of the runner, longest run of stage 3. And almost looking like that convergence of strategies really starting to kick in. Ball starting to pick up the tempo. Tyler Truex, we've seen him go up and down in terms of the top 5. Those still on the different alternate strategies, about in 12th. That's going to be the interesting wild card. What happens with Cherry here? One of the next level motorsports machines. who is looking to move ahead and keep ahead of the Hornets' nest of Clapper and Burleson that nearly made contact.
Yeah, keep in mind, Matt Cherry's on the freshest tires in the field right now. He's been out here for about 13 laps, while everybody else is about 24 laps on their tires. Of course, in front of him, though, Greg McConey, has been out for about 18 laps. He took fuel only, I do believe, though, on his stop. We'll have to see. Can Matt Cherry catch up here? He should be have a little bit better long run than these guys, and, of course, have a lot more of a chance of making it on just one stop here to the end.
And again, the gamble, for those who have just tuned in, for those drivers who topped off and sacrificed track position now, is if it goes green, guess who cycles to the point? Ryan Truex pointing his car to the inside of the track, able to avoid contact with his Toyota truck.
Yeah, that gives Josh Ball, of course, that third spot. Tyler Truex, cousin to Ryan, going to be trying to take advantage here. He's going to want to get by as quick as he can. And it looks like maybe Ball might have helped him. Maybe, you know, maybe, I don't know, a little bit of push in there with the air. I don't think they actually had any physical contact.
That is a thing, keep in mind, where we've seen this a lot, more so in open. You get nearly up to them in that aero weight, in that spoiler position, not making contact at, say, 1.5 miles. Turns out you could get a driver really, really loose unintentionally, and it can cause trouble if you're not experienced.
Yeah, I think it definitely, there's an air bubble behind these trucks, and I think maybe Josh Ball kind of broke it. But of course, you see Tyler Truex, I talked about him before. He has a chance to win this race with the pace he's been showing, but he is now being held up by his cousin at the moment. Of course, Matt Garrett as well. So how long does Tyler sit behind Ryan?
Good question. Garrett, amongst those who works in this Camp Greg file, we talked about having a very close working partnership with the Tomer Truex trucks. Looking like Tyler showing a little bit of the nose. We'll see if Ryan elects to give him space next corner, or if he's going to make Tyler work for it a little bit longer.
I'm seeing what Ryan's doing. He's kind of sacrificing the middle of the corner and using a little bit more of a diamond line. You see Ryan is more, or Tyler is more wrapping it right around the bottom, but Ryan kind of in the middle of the corner goes up a little bit and diamonds down. And it does give him a better run off the corner. You can definitely see that's working out, but it is holding up Tyler in the middle of the corner.
Meanwhile, Scott Famosa, who was amongst those fighting in the top 5 earlier, still in the 8th position. Still amongst those in that top grouping to keep up with his fellow competitors here. Just trying to find a way around Boundy in the midst of things in the rhythm. And now they're starting to reach a bit of traffic fighting. Here's a fight with Ball and Freeman swapping.
Yeah, Josh Ball has been really, really quick. Last time by, he was actually the fastest truck on the track. Able to get by Freeman. Now he's going to possibly, I think he's got the chance here in the speed to fight Jurassic. I mean, last time by, he was about, I do believe, 0.2 faster than Jurassic. So watch out for this one. Of course, we talked about it. He's been really the most consistent truck driver this season. Watch out for him. He's heading his home right now. This is where he's comfortable. So I think he's going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, he's quickly gaining up on his teammate right now. It's going to be the interesting mark of going now, or rather his rival teammate, NLM, I should say, in terms of this regard. Pit window expected to open soon. Ball just about opening the bottom of the racetrack up for the lead.
Yeah, some of these guys are going to be running low on fuel here very soon. I think because we did have a couple cautions, I say about 45, maybe 48, somewhere in there on the stint that we're seeing. But look at that. Ball is all over Jurassic right now. He closed in so quickly. He has got a lot of speed. He's got this track figured out. Ooh, Jurassic getting incredibly loose off the corner there. But it looks like Ball is going to be able to get the pass secured. The new leader, Josh Ball.
All to the point, Jurassic with the crossover. And not able to get the run with the curbing there on the right side. So move Ball to the point, your truck contender, who is so consistent in all the truck starts in the regular season. Speaking of battles, Freeman's lost the bottom of the track again. Ryan Truex is back on the pro with Tyler.
This is surprising. I thought Freeman was going to be the best on the longer runs, but I think that it's been kind of the opposite for him. He's been really quick on short runs, but I think that he's been kind of burning it up a little bit more. Maybe the truck's just not suiting him right now, or the track.
Yeah, very curious on that, Mark, because again, this is such a driver-centric track, I'll say. It is a track that can provide these rhythms, yes, but it also is one where you really have to be one with how you attack it, as we've talked about a bit throughout the night. It's not just simple as, okay, charge the corner, stick to the bottom, hope it sticks. No, it's not quite simple.
Well, especially with how these corners are and how flat this racetrack is. I mean, it's long, sweeping corners, and that usually tests a driver. Tests him very much. So as you can see, Ryan Truex is going to keep going back up into second place. He's going to try to get by Jurassic here. But because of how long these corners are, I mean, it really, I'd say, highlights your weaknesses. Would you say, Justin?
Yeah, exactly. And if your weakness is not being able to have consistent braking or being confident on the gas pedal, or depending on how things feel for you, be confident in terms of potentially third gear we've seen in the past. Not really too much tonight, but in the past, there's a lot you have to consider, as we've seen throughout this racing action here tonight.
Now, when you say third gear, is there shifting going on out here?
Not too much tonight, but in past years we've seen it.
Okay, so it must be the fixed gear ratio here must not allow for it or need it.
We haven't really seen major boosts of it, but you can also can see where the differences are, because they returned this year to the trucks here. In the past, where there wasn't that that set gear from NASCAR, that's where you get a little bit more creative, we've seen. Speaking of drivers looking to create point chances, Rainwater holding off Burleson, all while up in front, Clapper trying to hold off Lashinsky.
Yeah, I do believe Matt Cherry as well just got by Greg McConey for that 8th place position. I'll tell you what, the top 6 are in another zip code. They're kind of the class of the field, the top 6 are. Everybody else, you see Scott Formosa, he's about 1.6 seconds back from that top 6. And then I do believe Matt Cherry, he's trying to get up there to that top 6. He's going to catch Formosa, I think. Last time by, he was about 2 or 3 tenths faster than that 80 machine. Here comes also Sean Boundy as well. He's going to get by, I do believe. Well, not quite got Boundy. Looks like Boundy went a little bit too low on the racetrack. That curbing didn't seem to like that very much. Or that truck didn't seem to like that curbing very much.
Still good rhythm for now. But we'll say for those who continue to zip around the racetrack, drivers talked about, such as Cherry, by the way, making sure they had the practice down. It's worth emphasizing, we talked about having to be one with the track and knowing how to drive this track and bringing up those positives and trying to minimize the weaknesses with how it's very slippery and whatnot. 7 hours of practice earlier tonight to make sure everyone was ready to go.
Isn't that something? I mean, these guys definitely trying to get ready. I'm telling you, the battle is starting to heat up a little bit for 5th place. I see Matt Garrett has been catching up quite quickly to Freeman. I think Freeman is struggling more than I think that we thought. So curious to see what's going to happen here. Also the fall off from 5th and 6th right now. 31.4 from Freeman, 31.5 from Matt Garrett. The top 3 are still in the sub 31 second range. Fall off is starting to be a real big deal, and I think fuel's also going to start to be a real big deal as well soon.
Remember the mark for about 40 to go, around lap 95, about 10 laps away from that projection. Depending on which drivers make it there, that might be the indicator of who goes in save mode and who goes in push mode for the final run of the race. Nearly Formosa pushing up into the wall. Again, let's put it this way. It's hard to save fuel here at a track. You would think it'd be easy, but no. You basically get into a rhythm to the point where you almost have to save every lap into about 20, 30 laps in before you can really say, okay, can I let off? Am I good on this number? That's going to be the most difficult part of this now, depending on if drivers have to come in 10 laps, before 10 laps from now.
Well, I think one thing that's really difficult about saving at a track like this as well is because we talked about those long sweeping corners that this place has. When you have a track like that, you know, you're going to be on the throttle a lot more often in the middle of the corner, you know, just even a little partially on the throttle, right? I'd say that burns gas. And, you know, and you want to be able to maintain that corner speed. So what do?
I mean, I'm curious what you've done in the past. I know
Don't ask me. I'm not good at saving. I've never have been.
I mean, I was going to say my method is replace the lift zones with clutch and coast zones until you get back to where you're supposed to be on the throttle. Does it work all the time? Sometimes. Does it get you ran over? In official racing, sometimes.
I guarantee you, though, that these guys that are about 45 laps into their run right now, they're worried. I wouldn't be surprised if they're having alarm bells going off right now. But you look at a guy like Matt Cherry. I bet he's not worried. He's not probably worried at all because he knows I got enough gas if I just pit once here. I mean, I just pop down pit road at, like you said, 95 to 100. I'm good to the end.
Gotta love some of the pictures sometimes. Some providing real pictures, some putting in the effort to give their iRacing picture from their in-car camera. As you see the move from Garrett, which the photo was a little more centered, but you never know when it comes to iRacing. Cherry up a spot.
Yeah, I see Garrett right now. He is saving fuel. I don't think this is because his tires are hurting. I think he's trying to save gas.
But the problem is he's falling behind the driver he needs to stay in front of for that to work.
Yeah, exactly. This is just. I think that these guys made the wrong call. I think they thought another caution was going to come out, Justin. I think that. I mean, who blames them for thinking that? But I mean, that's the thing about racing. You know, you make a decision, you have to live with it. And I think that a lot of these guys are gonna praying and hoping that some type of caution comes out to make them look smart.
Now, for those curious about one situation, one driver who didn't make a start tonight who was in the forming 16, as we see the traffic starting to form up in front of the leader, Matthew Montgomery, earlier tonight, apparently had a Windows update which bricked his computer.
Oh, no.
And in turn, that's why the 9 truck is in the danger zone for the second race of the season for the playoff.
Isn't that just terrible? I mean, considering, yeah, I think he was one of the drivers that was underneath the bubble, right?
Yep.
Man, and so he's going to definitely have to have a good finish next week at Indianapolis.
Speaking of drivers looking to have a good end to this run, the Truexes, both of them, all over Ball, have really turned up the tempo a little bit to end this stint. Also, by the way, J.D. Woodward, the only other driver for the playoffs outside of Montgomery who didn't have a start. No reason given for him this evening. We'll see if the 78 makes it next time. Here's the pressure, though. You have to win now if you're those two.
Oh, here comes green flag stop.
Is this a winning move for Tomer Truex? He is in a little early. As the window is rolling, Garrett doing the same.
Yep, Garrett was saving. I know Freeman was saving as well. I think Freeman has decided to stay out. Greg Vial also coming in. This is interesting. Can these guys stretch it? It's going to be close.
A lot of drivers can't. Clapper in. Dennis in. More drivers like Vial also in, and Clapper misses his stall. Here comes Ball. Jurassic trying to gain every second possible. May or may not have just sped there.
Yeah, I think Jurassic did get a speed penalty. He was getting a pretty good clip there.
That could be a disastrous time. We'll see how long he sits in the box in turn. Ryan Truex, Matt Cherry, John Freeman, Famosa, McConey, Boundy. Once the only drivers who stretched it. We'll see if Ryan Truex peel is in. There he goes. Nicely done. Nearly into the wall.
It looks like Jurassic is good. He did not get a penalty.
And Cherry, interestingly enough, comes on in this lap.
That is interesting. I'm surprised that Cherry came in. I think I would have went a little bit further if I was Matt Cherry.
You know who's able to stretch it a lot longer than we may have thought? Freeman, yeah. He's up by a decent amount. Famosa is losing ground in bunches. Might be coming in this time. He might be on fumes. There he goes.
You know, I think that what explains that is we were talking about Freeman, like, oh, I think he's kind of struggling on the long. Well, I was talking about. I actually can't speak for you, Justin, but I was talking about how I thought Freeman was struggling on the longer run. I think he's been saving this entire time. Struggle might have been on purpose the whole time.
Smart play. Have the fresh tires. Downside. We've seen the fall-off differences already. Drivers were in the 31-second bracket. Can he gain 10 seconds on fresh boots?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, Ryan Truex, I think, has a pretty good shot to make it to the end. Some of these other guys, though, I don't think they have as good of a chance. Like Tyler Truex, he kind of dipped down a little early. I mean, some of these guys that pitted early, I think it's fairly unlikely that they're going to make it without some severe saving. Freeman's not going to have to save as much. He already did his saving, I think.
Few drivers looking to stretch as far as possible. Achinski, Rainwater, Burleson, Condon, Schumann are the only drivers yet to pit. Bit of smoke, a bit of a blinky blank. Lashinsky is looking towards the lane possibly too. Let's take a look at Rainwater. And Rainwater is out. He's out of gas.
That's kind of early for him to be out of gas. I mean, everybody else made it to about like 50 laps in the stint, but Rainwater pitted around when Matt Cherry did.
It was a very slow entry, and that is not a good entry mark.
Do you think he was running out of gas there, or was that just a mistake?
If you're that slow on the entry to lose 3 seconds in the pit lane, it could be either too conservative or you're out of gas. You know who's in a great spot here?
Yeah.
Tyler Truex. Current net advantage. Lachinsky and Condon, the last yet to pit, though, for the overall lead. Ball, meanwhile, you can see him in the backdrop getting very blocky with the traffic, trying to hold off Ryan Truex.
Keep in mind, though, Tyler Truex did pit like a lap or two before those guys that he's, in front of. So I think it's going to be very difficult for Tyler to actually make it. It's going to be really, really hard.
Tyler Truex is in a bad spot, too. Look where some of those who just pit came out. Caution! Eagles Wood Creations caution is out at a big time.
This is going to change everything. Is that Walton there?
Yes, it's Walton's 66 truck. Clapper and Rainwater likely will have to take waves. They are down a lap.
This changes everything. Wow.
This with 35 to go on his own.
Oh, man, on his own. He's got to be feeling embarrassed.
Great job to keep. Yeah, he kept it off the wall.
Yeah, and luckily the 16 didn't come up and get him near Josh Coroner.
However, that changes the complexion of the strats. Now who comes in? Just hit the curb.
Yeah, this is going to change everything. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here. I think the majority of these guys, except for the top two, I think that Stephen Lashinsky and Condon are going to come down and probably take 4 tires of fuel. I think possibly they're going to gamble and stay out. Tyler Truex, Ball. We'll see.
Oh, and Ball's in. Ball comes in. Tyler Truex does not. Jurassic is in too.
Just a little top off here probably in fuel. I don't think they're going to take tires.
I think it's more so the question, how many sets do you have left?
Well, they started this race out, I do believe, with 5, including the one on the truck.
Correct. And it looks like Jurassic is taking the tires. He's not doing the fuel stoppage. He's taking 4. Ball is the same boat.
This is just a lot of track position to not have here. I mean, if Tyler Truex and Ryan Truex can make it on fuel, I think track position is a lot more valuable right here, especially with this caution makes it a lot more likely that these guys can make it to the end.
I was about to say, this caution, if anything, makes sure they can make it. As there goes a lot of the air lap down drivers coming on in. Rainwater, Clapper amongst those who will have to take waves. Burleson in the same spot also. So they will not be able to pick up on a different strategy here. Interesting enough, Piccone coming down the second time around. I'm not sure why he would come the second time around and cost track position.
I don't know. It could have been an error with taking fuel. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes there's been bugs where iRacing doesn't fuel you up.
Yeah, that was a fuel-only stop.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That was definitely very interesting. I don't see why you would be concerned about making it from here if he just stopped a second ago.
Be doubly sure for overtime?
Possibly, but I mean, I just he needs points. He's down below the cut line right now. I just wouldn't make it. I think I'd want to try to prioritize track position.
Rundown coming up towards 30 to go. Tauber and Ryan Truex, Garrett, Cherry, Freeman, Famosa. Your top 6 all in the playoffs. Dennis, Lachinsky, Condon out of the playoffs, but inside the top 10. Great position for the 99-25 with the caution. Ball is in 10th. Once the first drivers on fresh tires, the first postseason competitor on fresh tires as well. So as they get ready for the restart, we've seen how crazy stage 2 got a bit. Not as big of a split here at this point. That's a major thing to consider.
No, I think that is going to be the biggest part of this. I think that when we saw these guys all grouped up together and got wild. And I think because these guys are mostly all going to be good on fuel, this is going to be a little bit crazy. These guys are going to really want to get this win.
18 drivers still in the lead lap. Schramm and Lee, the first ones 1 lap down as a result of the caution timing. So the Truex machines come up to the TLC restart zone. Green flag, 36 to go, and already some issues for Walton off the start.
Yeah, really good restart from Ryan Truex. He has been nailing these starts every single time. But unfortunately, Tyler has the bottom line. Yellow flag is back out on the racetrack here.
Now as a quickie, Eagles Hood Creations caution flag back of the field. And it includes some of the drivers at the tail end of some of that strategy. Schumann and several others. What sparked it? Remember the issue with Walton? It happened around him.
Yeah. Fortunately, I mean, he didn't cause that one. He just kind of found himself in the wrong place at the wrong time that time.
Justin Clapper, one of the playoff drivers in the incident, in the midst of a 4-truck stack up at the bottom.
Also, Rainwater, I think, was in that as well.
There's Rainwater specifically. They were 3 wide with traffic.
Rainwater actually, oh man, he almost got through that, but I think Schumann kind of came down in front of him there.
I can't tell if it came down or rather he had to slam the brakes and get in the grass to avoid it. Let's take one more look at this. It's one of the trucks who went around big time. That's Vio on the outside. That's Newkirk. Having a nightmare season.
Yeah, this is exactly what caused it. The 20 just got loose all on his own, and a lot of these guys just did not have time to check up, and, you know, unfortunate.
So Clapper Amonso's coming in with some damage repair now. And we'll pace around for the time being. Under 30 laps to go from iRacing's virtual Milwaukee Mile. As drivers get situated and look to see how this race closes out, we'll take a quick break. We're under caution for Thunderclap action from Wisconsin.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Thunderclump iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated Racing. Just Prince Brian Britt with you, Austin John Bishar producing as we get ready for the restart. Closing in to the final 20 laps and fast. Already 26 to go for the first race of the Forming 16. Green flag is out. Truex is 1 and 2 and a bit of a push from Garrett. The back end, here comes Freeman 3 wide.
Yeah, Freeman, man, he was ready to risk it all right there into turn 1, but unfortunately was not able to get there. But man, Matt Garrett has a pretty big opportunity. Still side by side though is the Truex. It looks like Tyler Truex does get clear.
1, 2, 3 amongst the alliance mates. Freeman looking to the bottom. There goes Cherry outside as well. Famosa looking to cycle, and Ball nearly spins it to the inside as well in the second group.
Yeah, that was crazy. Ball almost lost it there. 3 wide right there behind him. Bounty in the middle. Oh, some contact here. Bounty sideways. Caution's going to come out here.
No.
Oh, no caution.
Somehow we stay green. Jurassic is in the wall. Jordan Jurassic hit the inside wall in turn 2. We stay green. Bounty dropping to the back as well.
Man, that was just unlucky for Bounty. He was in a can of sardines right there. Had nothing really he could do. Look at that. They just both came in on him. What was he to do?
And Jurassic spins it out trying to avoid the situation too. But all of this, in turn, implications for the playoffs for those two. The Truex is still fighting it out. 24 to go, coming to 23. Now
he got squeezed out like the paste inside the tube of toothpaste.
Freeman, meanwhile, is getting very blocky. Cherry inside of the 5.
Yeah, I think Freeman has flipped the switch here. But Cherry, though, has been really, really fast. Watch out for that 67.
Oh, in
really
trouble.
Good, recovery for Ball. Go ahead.
25 truck, Condon having issues. That's down the back straightaway. We still stay green, despite everyone's best efforts.
Looks like Condon went really wide here. I think he had Burleson right there behind him. I think he's going to get loose here. Yeah, I think he just was carrying a little bit too much pace.
Oh, and he clipped that inside tire as well. And Robert Walton at the same time, same section, really got a hit with a bobble.
Wow. That was a pretty big one right there. And, of course, I don't think that was really his fault. I think he had some contact with someone else there.
Again,
we just had a highlight reel here the last few minutes, haven't we?
Again, 3 trucks or more who go around, you spark a caution. So far, the Truex is dominating this early run. We'll see how long that lasts because Ball on freshies. Well, he's trying to become Dragon Ball Z, trying to power his way through every enemy in sight.
Oh, man. No, you didn't, Justin. Look at that, though. Big run. Look at that. To the inside. Here comes Ball onto Cherry.
Looking to make a 99,000 worth move. 2 by 2, having to be brave, make it 3 wide
Oh,
with Jerry
no.
contact with Garrett, and that was not the 99,000 power move. Caution is out.
Not at all.
Well, that
Man.
just turned into a level 1 power move. Unfortunately, take a look at the contact 3 and 67.
Yeah, I just don't think Garrett thought he was going to be 3 wide all of a sudden right there. Just unfortunate. And Jerry really just, man, it's unfortunate. But, man, ball got right through that at the perfect time.
Again, when you gotta go, you got to go.
That's a tough one, man. Matt Garrett had been running so good tonight, too. That is so unfortunate.
Split decisions again. Ball stays out with the tire set differences. The Truexes are in. Vile, Clapper, Lachinsky, Burleson, the only others to stay out. Everybody else is taking a set with 18 to go.
Also, Greg Mile, I believe, staying out as well. This could be big for him. He's been having a rough night. But I'm telling you, I would not give Josh Ball this lead. I mean, he's been he's a truck champion. You don't get that in this sort of competition without earning it. I mean, he's been consistent. You don't give this guy the lead at this point in the race. I just don't think. I mean, especially he's got Greg Vile, he's got Clapper, he's got Lashinsky, he's got Burleson in between him and Tyler Truex. This could be perfect for Ball here, Justin. What are your thoughts?
I think it's even bigger if you're Bounty or Jurassic, who both had incidents in turns 1 and 2 without a caution. Guess who's back in the pack with this? Bounty and Jurassic. Bounty actually gained positions on all those who were involved in that last trigger caution and was able to pass them at the time of the trigger.
That was definitely a saving grace for Bounty. I mean, because Bounty had really, if the caution hadn't have came out there, it would have been very bad for him.
Now let's quickly talk about where we're going next on the schedule. Touched upon a little bit. How about a trip to the Oval at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for a Drivers in Thunderclap competition? Those drivers will have 100 laps at the Yard of Bricks. Stages 15 to 35, Xfinity Series cars. A grand total of 4 tire changes available with 60% fuel load. Gonna be interesting since it's been a very decent amount of time now since the Xfinity Series competition actually ran the Oval, because at the time, a few years ago, they were the first to actually switch to the road course. Now in Thunderclap, they return to the Oval.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a kind of a new thing. We're going to have to knock the rust off for us as well, because, I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of Xfinity Oval racing at Indianapolis in quite a long time. I mean, that's a classic racetrack. Going to be very interesting to see how these guys adapt to it as well.
How good are you at at turn 2, the tunnel turn at Pocono?
Usually I'm pretty good there. I mean, just kind of a little bit of a lift, and you have to angle it just right. It's very easy to hit that wall coming out of 2, though. I'll tell you that.
Well, guess what? You get to do it 4 times at the Brickyard.
That's right.
In 4 different ways.
Definitely excited. I mean, and, you know, I expect that these guys are going to be putting on a great show there. I mean, that's a track that it has a lot of different characteristics. I mean, you have the drafting aspect of the long straightaways, and you also have the, you know, kind of road course aspects of the corners.
Once again, coverage of the action can be seen next time out on July the 19th for round 18 of the season, the middle round of the Forming 16 here on Grid Vision. Lights are out on top of the iRacing pace truck, 14 to go when we get ready for the TLC restart zone and the flag stand. How does this fare out for the top 5, all on older tires? We ran about 10-15 laps that run.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Vile, Clapper, and Lashinsky and Burleson have not been up front all race long. So this is going to be kind of a big test here. I mean, now they have their best laps don't look bad. Leshinsky, though, is a little off the pace compared to a lot of these drivers. So we'll have to wait and see how this kind of all turns out. It's going to be a lot of pressure for that top 5 as well. Also, you see, Justin, one thing I want to turn our attention to is it looks like it's starting to get a little darker out here. That could be cooling the track down as well.
Those temperatures absolutely plummeting. -7 since earlier today. We got things going at the end of the warm-up session. TLC restart zone. Green flag is out. 14 to go. A great start for the top 2. The fight is on for the battle for the race lead. 2 by 2 make it offset near 3.
Yeah, Clapper taking advantage here, getting underneath Vial. Of course, that bottom line all night long has been the place to be. Caution is back out.
Back of the field.
Back of the field, yeah.
Back in Rio, the Eagleswood Creations caution flag. And
oh no.
Walton has had a very, very, very difficult time here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Oh, wow.
That was Cherry, and that was Lee.
It looked like it could have been possibly Netco.
Well, there was some air. Walton gonna have a lot of air flowing through the wrong parts of some of that bodywork. But chance to regroup. No changes amongst the top 5, really, at the top of the yellow flag.
No, not at all. Top 5 able to stay up there even though they're on the older tires. Clapper definitely was really trying to make something happen against Vial, but the caution kind of saved Vial from losing that spot.
And talk about the significance of this time of the yellow. Cherry back of the field in 18th now. Jurassic 17th on the postseason runners. Rainwater's back in 14th. Bounty, Garrett amongst those outside the top 10. McConey, Freeman, Famosa, the Truexes, Clapper, Ball. All your postseason drivers who are in the top 10 currently. Remember, others that are going to have problems in turn for the next race. Roger Diebold, we see technical issues pulled off early. A couple others who had technical issues are also out, such as the 88 McCreary.
Yeah, that's definitely going to hurt Diebold. But I'll tell you, I'm impressed with McConey. He's been staying alive up in the top 10 right now. This is a good point stay if he just finishes it out with a solid finish.
Keep an eye on it, too. And I'm just going to say one other thing. We talked about paint schemes earlier with Robert Condon as well as with number fonts in general. There was a different paint scheme, if you notice, for Greg McConey compared to his usual schemes. How do I put this? Have you ever heard of a show called Bluey? Apparently, it's coming back. I don't know
Louis C.K. or?
No, it's a children's show.
Oh,
It's apparently
Louis. I thought you said Louis. I'm sorry.
Apparently, it's his 2-year-old daughter's favorite TV show.
Aw, isn't that nice?
Apparently, I looked on Reddit today, the NASCAR subreddit, with some of the announcements being rumored, involving some various drivers, especially like Brody Kostecki in the possible talks there. There was a lot more excitement about Bluey coming back than there was about the track, about the drivers.
I've never seen the show, so I guess I ought to see it. I'm missing it out, I guess.
It's a children's show. That's all I know.
I mean, knowing
Race
me, I don't
trucks.
have a lot of brain cells, man. It might be a good show for me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed then. Coming up to 10 to go. And let's see about using that brain cell in terms of how you would determine how you pass for this race win.
Well, I think the bottom line is going to be pretty much a necessity for sure. I don't know. I mean, we have seen some guys make the top work, but I think Ball is in the best position right now. Now, Tyler Truex, he's the one we're going to have to. He's the one that's in the danger zone. He's got to make his way up here. And I mean, he's been the fastest truck, I'd say. Wouldn't you say, Justin? He's been the fastest.
Yeah, I think the Truexes have been extremely quick, more so. But you can throw Freeman in the mix when he's got clean air at times tonight, too.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. So I think the speed has been situational in a lot of ways.
Coming up to 9 laps to go. 9 miles from the Milwaukee Mile. Can everyone keep those 9 miles clean without having to walk another 4 to 7 more? TLC restart zone. Green flag is out. Vile tried to time it. Oh, and an issue to the gears for Ball. A little bit of an attack from the outside.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Slows down substantially through 1 and 2. This could give Vile. Oh, caution's out. I think Vile's got the lead here.
Vile's got the advantage. We'll see the scoring loops. Oh, will they crash to the pack?
Oh, wow.
Cherry is in it. McCreary, it appears, came back on the track and immediately joined in it. Condon and a few others are in.
Condon looks like he got the worst out of it. Pretty hurt truck, looks like.
Let's take a look from some of the perspectives from the helicopter.
Oh, wow.
An
Yeah, we're
excursion.
definitely got to take another look at that, but that looks like that involves several trucks.
Schumann in it, Dennis in it. Some drivers who ran towards the front earlier or had decent speed. But here's Cherry, one of the playoff drivers involved in this incident. It's Dennis who goes around.
Yep, Dennis in the middle, 3 wide, I think is kind of where we're going to want to focus.
So some significant contacts indeed here.
This is where it kind of all breaks out. There were 3 wide. Dennis is in the middle here. You can see a little contact there, I think, with Garrett. Yep. Oh. Unfortunately, you see Condon was not able to miss this. Hurting that pretty paint scheme that was, I do believe, painted and wrapped for his mother.
Yes, indeed. But scoring confirmed. Vile, the leader. And the significance of this, he's been in contention for 1 or 2 wins this year, but it's been a lot of rough patches in between. His drivers like Garrett, who run under his label currently, have done really well this season. Can the boss man for Greg Vile Motorsports get it done?
I mean, he's been quick. I mean, he was able to battle against Ball, and that's not an easy thing to do. And the caution came out at just the right time. He's going to have the advantage. He's going to have to really nail this restart. If it's anything like that last restart we just saw, he was really good. He nailed it exactly what he needed to do. And these cautions, I'll tell you who's probably really, really frustrated right now, though, Justin's got to be Tyler Truex. He's got to be just extremely frustrated because every time the caution comes out, he doesn't gain any spots. He's been staying in 6th place.
You did mention the potential of a playoff spoiler. Why wouldn't Vile be a playoff spoiler to start the forming 16?
Yeah, I mean, if you win, aren't you kind of locked into the forming or the cloudy 12?
If you are a playoff driver.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's taken away that opportunity from someone else.
You know who has a big chance here? Justin Clapper. His season, again, up and down for the boss man. In turn tonight, even when he's been in the down, he's still been now in this position to have a chance for a great up.
He's been really incredibly good. He's been fast. It's just a lot of times I think he's a little aggressive for his own good. Not to, hopefully he doesn't kill me for saying that. But
well, Richmond was an example of he crashed so hard that the barrels and a cone landed in his lap.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep, wasn't that long ago.
So now, how will they do? Let's look on board from Justin Clapper. Already can see sticking to 2nd and 3rd gear before getting things lined up for the TLC restart zone. 4 miles. No movement over to the 1st gear with the older tires on the truck, already getting ready to push Vile forward for the restart. Green, green, green. 4 laps to go. There's the push.
Wow, bump draft into him. And here he comes. I think he was thinking about jumping in underneath him, but doesn't. I think he's going to try to prioritize exit here.
Can't get fully inside a ball, but able to get to third.
Wow,
Four
wide.
Burleson gets shuffled by Ryan Truex. And Ryan Truex misses the corner. Lachinsky gets turned. They all crash in the corner. Eagleswood Creations caution flag is out. And this may trigger overtime.
I think there is no doubt about it. We're going to have ourselves a green-white checkered scenario here. And man, that was a big wreck. The 4 wide didn't even trigger the wreck, but that did.
Well, he
I
licked
had some other 4 wide here going on.
He licked the stamp. The stamp had no grip.
Yeah. He definitely sent it. He sent it, got tight, got up in Lachinsky, and that's all she wrote.
And that is another significant blow for Ryan Truex here tonight. He's had winning speed all season. What a surprise with the territory. However, when he's made mistakes, they have been big. Tonight, Charlotte comes to mind, and now put ourselves into position for overtime. RL Productions overtime. Vial, Ball, Clapper, Tyler Truex, your top 4. Remember, if we take the white flag, it's a race to the checkered, simple as that. If we get a caution before the white waves, then we'll re-rack them and stack them. If we get a caution on the final attempt before they take the white, we end under yellow.
I'm telling you, I think Vial has got the best shot right now, and he's going to play spoiler. I mean, because 2 laps, I think he can do it. I think he can hold these guys off for that.
But we've seen this especially this year with Sayani NASCAR. Jimmy Mullis had a 36-race winless streak. He said in post-race, after bump and running somebody to get into the postseason, I had to do what I needed to break the streak. Does anyone in Thunderclap do what they need to do to get into the next round for the Cloudy 16?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the person that would be in the best position to do that would be Ball or Clapper. One of those two. I mean, or Tyler Truex maybe. But I mean, I just think that Clapper's probably the most likely to maybe try to put a bumper to Vial because he's going to be starting right behind him. I mean, we already saw him. He was willing to bump draft him pretty much at the restart.
Reference Greg Vial, also amongst those who runs at Wall Stadium, has experience in multiple different classes of racing, including what some call the bone stocks, what others call 4 cylinders at that New Jersey-based speedway. Here's the thing about those respective cards that come up to mind. You have to take up a little bit of contact to be able to roll around those tracks. It comes with the territory.
Man, I'm definitely on the edge of my seat here. I don't know who's going to win this race, and I hope that all the audience out there are feeling the exact same way. We definitely appreciate everybody out there tuning in for sure. I mean, man, it just doesn't get better than this. I don't really know I don't have a lot of experience with this track. Kind of was apprehensive about how this would look, but I'll tell you what, it's been entertaining.
Much of the field still in the race. 19 in solid positioning for the restart. Condon is 20th and trying to catch up to the field after damage repair still. But Vial looking to play spoiler to start the forming 16. Ball looking to back up his truck speed all year in the regular season with a postseason dub. All while Clapper inside row 2, looking for his first win of this season. Tyler Truex looking to add his name to the multiple win club once more. TLC restart zone, 2 laps to go. Green-white checkered attempt number 1, we're crashing. Lee has crashed behind the field. Is the caution out? No, we'll race it out for now. Now it is.
Man, what just happened to TJ Lee? I mean, how did they wreck before the green flag even came out?
They didn't even make the start box.
Watch that 46. Looks like he was trying to get a jump here, possibly.
And green. I believe this was a previous restart. That looked clean. That's how you normally do it. Now, how? Now, what happens when it doesn't happen?
Oh, wow.
My
I think
goodness,
that was
Schumann.
Schumann, yeah. Schumann just came up and was like, yeah, I'm just going to clean you out.
Obviously, there was some sort of miscommunication there.
Maybe Schumann just was looking down, wasn't paying attention, something. Because this just doesn't make sense. Like, what in the...
I've got no words.
Okay, we could say that we've seen it all.
You could argue green flag on the flag stand. The thing is, they didn't take the green flag at the flag stand yet.
He did. He took it. He was ready to go, Justin. He was already ready to go. He was ahead of everybody. Unfortunate, though, for TJ Lee.
Yeah. Well, Schumann, by the way, is in the pit lane because he just drove the front nose through someone. Also, there goes Newkirk. Lucky dog. This caution. See if we get a quickie yellow procedure from that, or if they will do a full pacing procedure. But that was our first attempt already burned up there.
Yep, that's for sure. And this is going to do nothing but, I think, get these guys even more anxious and suspense, you know, kind of just building even more.
You know what I noticed, though? You know who did somehow pick up a spot because the time of that caution? Tyler Truex is now inside row 2.
Wow.
That's
I mean, you got to keep in mind that even though that happened before the green flag, we did go green for about a half a second. Like,
you still can pick up a position from it.
You can. You definitely can. He did. He did. So he's probably feeling a lot better now. He's gotten past Clapper, and now he's on the inside row behind Bio.
It looks like drivers are already getting to double them up this time around, or at least the top 2 want to. Jurassic, by the way, is up to 11th with that caution flag. Cherry's up to 13th. Rainwater back at 12th.
Yeah, I mean, Rainwater has an opportunity here to possibly get by McConey. That would be pretty big for the points.
Needs to pick up a lot of spots, and there it is. Quickie yellow. 1 to go signal already taken. So we've seen green, white, checkered attempt number 1 go very opposite to anybody's predictions and their wildest imaginations. What do you predict for this second GWC if it stays green?
I have no clue. I mean, I think we've already seen pandemonium there just now. I mean, I think we're definitely going to see more of it here. I mean, as the season continues to progress, we're going to see these guys get a lot more desperate, a lot more cutthroat. And I think, we've already seen these guys already do whatever it takes to win. What more could they do? I mean, I think we're getting ready to push the envelope a little bit further.
Let's try this again. No contact coming out of turn 4. We're already further along for the green flag. 2 to go. And
Those so good.
They try to have a contact at the back of the flag stand. Help on the send for second.
Yeah, Tyler Truex now side by side with Josh Ball. Do we make it to the white flag? Already some problems. Garrett through white, getting really loose off the corner. As we got 4 wide here. Jurassic sending in on Greg McConey.
Somehow they make it all through. Coming up to the white flag, this time presented by RL Productions. Tyler Truex nearly spins it. Ball looking for second again on the send. Vile looking for his first one of the season.
And it is official. If we will end it on the next flag. Vile right now in prime position. You see Ball with the crossover. for second place. He's not able to get there. Tyler Truex able to hold him off.
Greg Vile starts off the postseason by playing spoiler to the checker flag. Greg Vile wins at the Milwaukee Mile to start the Forming 16.
Wow. Non-playoff driver wins this race. Isn't that just something? And this guy, if I'm not mistaken, started in last. He started this race in last.
From last to first.
Wow.
For Greg Vile.
Isn't that so awesome? We saw an exciting race with, of course, Roger Debold winning his first race in quite a while. And now we come back and we see Greg Vile win his first race in quite a while. Has this guy won a race before in this series?
Well, he's going to celebrate like it's 1999 right here. Or how about celebrate like it's now burnout time?
Definitely a well-deserved win right there. Able to hold him off on the older tires as well. Man, this is so awesome to see that. I mean, a lot of guys are going to be probably groaning and sighing because they did not get to lock themselves in. But Vile, he is going to be on the pedestal here tonight.
Greg Vile burning the house down. And for good measure when it comes to tonight for Greg Vile, it's his 7th career win and his 81st start. He wins it over Tyler Truex and Josh Ball. Freeman and Clapper, your top 5. Garrett, Bounty, Burleson, McConey, and Cherry, your top 10. 8 of the top 10 in the postseason.
Of course, 11th place for Mosa, Rainwater 12th, Ryan Truex 13th, Allen Jr. 14th, Lee 15th, Schramm 16th, Kohler 17th, Condon 18th, Lashinsky 19th, and Jurassic rounding out the top 20.
21st going to Kyle Newkirk, 1 lap down, then DNF for Brandon Schumann. Mark McCrory had issues at one point, thought he was out of the race. He did make a return back to the race. However, still got in trouble shortly after later on. Then it's Dennis, Walton, Goslin, and a huge hit. Roger Debold, starting off the night with tech issues, did not make it past a few laps this evening. So with that, that's a look top to bottom at your running order. iRacing's virtual Milwaukee Mile. As we get all set and situated, let's get towards virtual victory lane to start things off. How about a little bit of a playoff spoiler? Greg Vile starts off with a W. Greg, how does it feel to play spoiler to start off the postseason?
You fucking last to first. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. I'm just jacked up right now. I don't even know how to feel. Can't believe it. I didn't think staying out was going to be the call, but ended up working out for us. I wish we could have been in the playoffs, but I'm jacked up to say the least.
Yet apologies for those listening along for the language. I will ask this in turns though. How was that charged through the difficulties of getting to this position in the first place, because you had been around that mid-pack before those cautions seemed to fly?
Yeah, like I said, we started last. We drove up to, I think it was like 16th. Ended up spinning out. I thought that was really going to be it, but that caution came out. We ended up staying out, and it worked out for us. So definitely no complaints on my end.
You've come so close to breaking through throughout the season. Just earlier this year, you finished off with strong runs at Charlotte, for example. As well, your first win since June 29th in this series. How would you describe that emotional feel of having to fight so long to be able to break on through more than a year past the date by 2 weeks?
You know, I didn't know if we were going to get one this season, but it sucks it wasn't the regular season. During the playoffs, we didn't make that. Regardless, I'm very thankful to even get the checkered. So hopefully we can do the same next year, and I'm looking forward to see what happens during the playoff season.
Well, congrats, Greg, on the victory. It's your first in more than a year.
Yes, sir.
Greg Vile coming away with the W tonight in the 26 machine. A big victory for him tonight. Second place tonight going the way of one Tyler Truex. He was able to hold off a driver that looked to have a bit of a ball. The driver from a track that has the name Wall in it. It's Brian.
Hey, Tyler, man, great job here tonight. I kind of was of the mind that you had the fastest truck here tonight. It seemed like you were the best on the long run and everything. How do you feel? Are you a little disappointed that you weren't able to really lock yourself up into the Cloudy 12 here tonight, or are you happy to see Greg Viant able to get a win?
Yeah, I'm always happy to see a team car truck take a victory, so I was happy to see Greg. He hasn't had to, he had a couple races where he could have won, but that was his first win of the year, so it's cool to see a team make it a first win for sure. But yeah, I definitely felt like I had a really good truck there. I made a mistake first stage pitting, thinking we couldn't make it on fuel to the second stage, and ended up starting in the back with the same tires. I didn't take tires and drove back up to the front, so I knew we had a good truck. It's just I just kept making bad decisions. I wish we would have stayed out that last run. I didn't think 17 to go. I didn't realize if we had 2 cautions, it was only going to be 8 to go because the cautions were so long. So just bad execution. But we had a good truck. I'm glad we showed it at least, and ended up with 0x and didn't wreck it. So it's all in all a good points tonight for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely a great points night for you. Why were you so good at this track here? What about this track is is your specialty? Because it seemed like you were better than everybody out there for the most part.
I don't know. I've always really liked this track. I haven't really driven it much, but I don't know. It just suits my driving style. There, you could shift the whole run, but there early in the runs I wasn't shifting. I think that was the difference there, because them guys were getting me a little bit off the corners, but after 5 laps it kind of equaled out, and then the 5 to 20 mark where I wasn't shifting and they was burning their stuff up, and then I would start shifting late in the run, and it was just a game changer. That's kind of, I think, definitely helped. I'd like to say it did. I don't know if anyone else is doing that. I think I was the only one doing that end of things. So I don't know if it's a secret or not, but it definitely worked for my end, keeping the tires under it.
Yeah, we were curious. I know we were talking a little bit about if shifting was kind of going on out there, so I'm glad you were able to give that kind of clarification for us there, Tyler. Of course, next week, the Xfinity cars are going to be at Indianapolis. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you're going to be good there? I know it's been a while since the Indianapolis Oval has been in competition.
Yeah, I love the Xfinity car in this game. It suits my driving style for sure. Just hanging out and saving tires and really driving the cars. Indy's going to be definitely tough. I just haven't really had the best luck when it comes to the series this year as far as getting caught up in other people's mess there early in the season. So I'm just glad to be able to put couple solid runs together. Hopefully next week we can just stack some stage points and get a solid finish to where we end up at the end. Just try to make it, like you said, a Cloudy 12.
All right, well, we definitely wish you the best of luck. Hopefully your momentum continues next week at Indianapolis. Who can we give a shout out to after your second place finish?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank all the guys on our team. Matt does all the paint schemes for us, and then congrats to Greg. He had obviously a great call there at the end, stay out, capitalize on everything. So it's just the team, all of us executing there. Me, Matt, and Ryan were 1, 2, 3 there before stuff started hitting the fan there at the end of the run. So yeah, just a solid race for our whole squad till the end.
All right, Tyler. Thanks for your time, brother. Always a good time to talk to you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for all you guys do.
And Tyler Truex in second spot, got forwarded the message from Greg Vile. Also wants to thank his mother as well as his sister, as well as other family members for all they do for tonight. Josh Ball doing all he could to battle for the race win. It's tonight, though, for you tonight. How would you describe those final restarts from your perspective?
Well, yeah, the truck was strong all night, and I knew I had a top three truck there. I think it was like the third to last restart. I was leading there for a little bit, and fortunately I went into turn 1, got a little loose. I went in too far, and I kept it below Greg, and I had the run out down the straightaway, and I would have got around him, but fortunately the caution came out mid-corner, and he was ahead of me, so pretty much did me in once he got the inside there. It was kind of hard to pass on the outside. But otherwise, good night for us. Good points night. So
Really good points tonight indeed. But in terms of that track conditioning, we talked a bit about how slick it was, how difficult it was to drive through, especially the early going at sea. How was that from the driver's side to be able to slip and slide, because we've seen a few drivers really have to fight with this wheel?
yeah, there was definitely different strategies. I know some people weren't shifting, some people were, some were waiting 10 laps to shift. Some people were, entering high and just kind of cruising around. I mean, I did a little different, and I didn't think it was too bad. I mean, there was a couple points where obviously I was trying to push it and got a little sideways, but otherwise I thought it was pretty decent all night. I like this track, but yeah, I thought it wasn't too bad.
So, Indianapolis, the oval with the Xfinity Series cars. It's been a few years in the real world. Virtual world, anything is possible. What do you think's possible for you at the Brickyard?
Definitely like the Brickyard. I'd assume probably top 10 car. I do really like that track, so we'll see. Probably get a little more practice in. Like you said, it's been a while since any official or anything has been there, so definitely need to brush up on that a little bit, but hopefully we'll be able to put the number 1 Red Bull Ford back up there, and hopefully not have to worry about the third week if we can get another definition.
Sponsors, shout-outs?
Yeah, just thanks Clapper for putting on the league, and Jake and Justin for doing the admin. You guys, Justin, Brian, and Austin for doing the broadcast for us, and that's about it. Just come out here, have some fun.
And that's Josh Ball finishing top 3 tonight. Like thank him, Tower Truex, and your winner, Greg Vile, for taking the time to speak with us during the post-race coverage here on Grid Vision. An intriguing race from the Milwaukee Mile, to say the least, Brian. It's the last to first move for Greg Vile, coming up with the luck, but also the right strategy once the caution started to rain down.
Yeah, definitely was a great move there for him, and I was quite surprised to see that tire wear didn't matter as near as much as I kind of thought it would here tonight. But Vile, because it wouldn't have been possible. Vile would not have been able to do that if tire wear mattered a lot more. So definitely a great congratulations there to him, and glad to see him back in victory lane. And I'm glad to see Tyler Truex also being, kind of a little bit more rational, saying, "Hey, I'm glad to see him win. Of course, I wish I'd won, but a lot of respect out there on the track tonight, I think, displayed, and hopefully it's the same way at Indianapolis. Can't wait for that."
Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule once more here on Grid Vision. We talked about a little bit what was coming in the recent few days, including NIS competition at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. The weekly schedule, in turn, seeing that NIS Open broadcast 9 p.m. Eastern Time this upcoming Friday. You can catch that here on Grid Vision. Same can be said with a race at New Hampshire for the Global Racing League. They will bring their trucks out to the Magic Mile at 12:30 p.m. Eastern here on Grid Vision. On that note, though, it's time to say goodbye. I'd like to thank you for tuning in from iRacing's virtual Milwaukee Mile for coverage of the Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated. For my broadcast partners tonight, Brian Britt, for Austin Darbyshire and Justin Prince, saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching the start of the Forming 16 from Wisconsin.